Hey guys, Casey here, and welcome to my early access review for Dauntless. What is Dauntless, you may be asking? Well, Dauntless is an online co-op monster hunting game, developed by Phoenix Labs. Now, Dauntless is in a closed beta currently where you must purchase a Founders Pack in order to play. However, the game is intended to go free to play sometime in 2018. Dauntless has been on my radar for about a year now, and I was super excited to finally be able to hop in and give it a go. So what can you expect from this super stylized behemoth hunter? Well, sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy as we take an in-depth look at Dauntless. So let's start briefly with the character creation that starts off the whole experience. Luckily, I've done my homework on this game and was aware of the current state of the character creation system prior to actually playing, otherwise it probably would have set a pretty bad first impression. Similar to the character creation of Grand Theft Auto 5, you pick two ancestors and it gives you an offspring of said two characters in which you may then tweak and edit. There are quite a few things currently wrong with this system, however. Almost every character you make has this epic jawline of the Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents. Whether they're male or female, which kind of just turns out looking rather weird and not very pleasant to look at. Male characters for the most part are okay, but if you're like me and enjoy playing as a female protagonist, then get ready to work extra hard trying to make your creation look even slightly feminine. Another issue is currently there are no options for facial hair for men, and hair color in general is extremely lackluster. You can pick from black, brown, and slightly lighter brown. That's about it. Sorry redhead lovers, you'll have to get your jollies off somewhere else. There has been quite a vocal amount of players already asking for the much needed improvements to the character customization, and from what I've seen on how Phoenix Labs takes feedback, I think it's just a matter of time before we start seeing changes being made. Nonetheless though, this kind of sets the stage and makes the experience feel a bit amateur or lackluster right from the get-go. I don't think the devs really understand just how important character customization is to gamers if given the option. Moving on though, after making your abomination, you'll be thrown right into the game. From here, you'll get a brief summary of the controls, and then the game tells you, Hey you see that giant monster over there? Go kill it. Any fan of Monster Hunter or Dark Souls will instantly feel at home here with the combat. The behemoths typically telegraph their attacks just well enough that a sharp eye will pick it up, and the controls and character movement are just tight enough that you can feel confident in evading and counterattacking. It's kind of hard to overstate just how important good and reliable combat is for this kind of game, and as far as I'm concerned, Dauntless nails it pretty spot on. Only a handful of times in my session so far have I encountered some sort of movement glitch where my character will stay completely still mid-combat, or an input won't register correctly. It's infrequent enough that it never becomes a problem, but it does happen enough that you'll become aware of it when it does occur. There are currently a handful of different types of weapons in the game, from traditional swords to hammers to even cool bladed chain hooks, which is what I use. Each of the 4 different weapons provide different attacks, speeds, pros, and cons to the combat. For instance, the hook chains are super fast, like really fast, but come at the cost of low damage output. But the axe, it's slow and super powerful, but often requires near perfect timing in order to land attacks. In short, there is a weapon type and style that'll suit almost every kind of player. Visually, the game looks quite beautiful, for better or for worse. What do I mean by this? Well, the game has a very strong style to it, almost reminiscent of games such as Fortnite. However, currently there is a severe lack of options for customizing your graphical settings, and for a game in beta that does have some rather strong performance issues from time to time, it would make for a much smoother and more enjoyable experience if you had just a bit more control over how the graphics are configured. In the combat sections, the game runs pretty well, but some attacks from the behemoths will quickly lower your frame rate down to a snail's pace. And dear God, don't get me started with the horrendous performance of the main social hub. The game runs nearly at a constant 60 frames per second for me. However, in the hub, I get a staggering 25 to 30 frames less, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense since currently the hub isn't very populated at all. As from what I can tell, each instanced hub holds about 15 to 20 players, an issue I'm most certain will get addressed sometime in the near future. As with any early access game though, you're going to see some glitches and bugs. In my time spent in Dauntless so far, I've seen only a couple, but they did stick out pretty hard. One such case is the time that my face nearly disappeared altogether except for my eyeballs. What is this? Assassin's Creed? Thanks for the nightmares. Or this other time that my character decided she wanted to do her best interpretation of a pretzel. Or finally, this time that the chat box decided it wanted to come with me. These aren't particularly game-breaking except for maybe the dialogue box getting in my view, but they sure are funny as hell and do rip you out of the immersion quite a bit. The worlds themselves are beautiful, in particular this snow biome. It just looks so damn sharp and freaking fantastic. However, the game really kind of lacks variety in this department so far. Whether they're lush green fields or icy wastelands, the environment serves very little purpose outside of a place to fight and find stuff. There's little to no real interaction with the environment, which is a real shame because the lore has done most of the work to set up some really awesome things to happen and occur. But no, currently the worlds are stagnant and nearly devoid of life. But do you know what isn't devoid of life? The behemoths themselves. These bastards are full of fun quirks and personalities. Behemoths will look at individual players and oftentimes try to single them out to help even the odds in their favor. Little things like the behemoth tripping after an attack add such a nice little bit of realism. These creatures feel real, and it helps make for an exhilarating and fantastic fight that really adds weight to what is at stake. What really helps top it off is the absolutely incredible sound design. I'm going to play just a brief clip of the game here with the audio turned up, and I want you to tell me that the sound design isn't grade A quality. To me, it sounds as good or better than most AAA games. Whoever is doing the sound work for Dauntless really needs a raise, because holy crap, it gives the game an excellent bit of polish that it desperately needs. In Dauntless, you'll be fighting and grinding behemoth after behemoth, which gives you Aether Cores, a new fancy name for loot boxes, which will give you materials that you can then use to build new and awesome looking armor and weapons. Each behemoth offers its own set of weapons and armor that looks reminiscent of the beast that it came from. Not only does the armor look great and can be leveled up continuously to improve its resistance, but you can also dye it whatever color you'd like, adding a nice bit of customization to otherwise commonly worn armor. You can go into hunts by yourself or party up with friends to hunt together, which a lot of these behemoths really do require additional help. So I strongly suggest bringing friends in with you. That is, if you can stay with them. Yet another little bug in the game, and easily the most annoying to me, is that the game will automatically dismember your party at random with no notification. Meaning that oftentimes you'll load up a hunt to find that your buddy never got the memo and is still waiting for you at the hub. This wouldn't be that big of an issue if your friends could join you mid-hunt, but they can't. So you either have to finish your hunt without them, which can take 15 minutes or more, or you have to leave the hunt, which means abandoning random players that the game put you with, which will likely make their experience harder and less enjoyable. So I suggest keeping a close eye on your party to make sure everyone is accounted for before starting the hunt, as once the game starts looking for a match, there is no way to cancel it. So that's Dauntless in its current state. Is it fun? Hell yeah! But man, it's pretty rough in its current condition. And with its asking price of $40 US for access to the beta, I'd probably tell you to just wait until the game goes free to play and is patched up and in proper working order. Unless you're like me and want anything that even slightly resembles Monster Hunter instantly. I'm not going to give a final score for Dauntless because it wouldn't be fair to the game. I feel like I've done a decent job showing you what the game has to offer at the moment, and that'll have to do for now until the game is actually finished. There is a huge amount of potential for this game, and I just hope that the developers continue to work hard on it and push forward with their awesome project. I hope you enjoyed my review for Dauntless. If you did, be sure to click that thumbs up button and subscribe for more daily content. Well, until next time, guys.